And we're ready to go. It is Tuesday, January 16th, and I call to order the Public Works Committee. The time is now 9:01. Can I get a roll call, please?
Chair Garcia,
Here.
Vice Chair Ozog,
Here.
Member Cahill,
Here.
Member Desart, Member Galassi, Member Zay.
Here.
Okay, we have a quorum. Is there any public comment today?
No.
Okay. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes,
So moved.
24-0338, Public Works Committee meetings of the regular meeting of Tuesday, December 5th, 2023. I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? No, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Length of Service Award. We have Danielle Garza here. Hello,
Danielle, come on up.
30? You can't be 30.
I know. I will say, Danielle started here when she was 13.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
So-
Oh my gosh.
So Danielle has been here 30 years. And, I've known Danielle since day one I've gotten here. She's the main point of contact. Anybody coming down to Woodridge, coming in person, calling on the phone. Danielle is a person who helps everybody. She's involved in so many aspects of our department, but I have so many things I could say. I think it's actually appropriate for me to turn over to Sean. Sean works day in and day out with Danielle. The two of them work closely together. So I'd like to kind of ask Sean to give some details.
Sure, I actually started a couple years before Danielle, and I did not age as well as she did. I want to thank you personally. She's done a terrific job. She's a great support person for our office. She's that person in the office that does all the little things. It's not just what's in her job description. She does everything for so much for every one of our departments at Public Works. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Fantastic. We really appreciate everything.
Okay, I just want to thank you just for the hard work. I mean, 30 years is a long time to be in one place. And so,
I love it
my-
there
my-
though.
and you must, because, and your work shows really good work. So I just want to thank you here as the committee
She's-
here that we're.
I can't tell you how much, she's so approachable by all of our staff, questions, especially new employees coming up. How does this work? How does this work? She's always such a resource, not only the public, but our own staff as well.
Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You have a picture?
You wanna do one with,
Yeah, get it.
let's do a nice, you want the vice chair in there as well? I was gonna say, yeah. We'll get the whole team together. So Evan's in here now.
30 years. Well, and what's neat is usually 30 years are at county board, but she wanted to have it here in Public Works. So-
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, that's not a bad idea. Can we all, it's gonna be too big.
What do you think?
Like, we need
What do you
to
want?
sneak in, maybe some of the shorter
Here,
folks.
we'll go out.
in
go
front of
back.
Nick.
In front of me.
I'm not a photographer. This is
Anybody
not
have any
my,
powder for Sean's forehead?
Back up. Or this works, we'll make this work. Perfect.
Thanks.
All right, thank you, and thank you
See,
so
you don't
much.
smile in a picture every
Thank you
day.
so much. I
30
really
years.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you.
Had to go to the hospital yesterday after the breakfast because he had never smiled that much in his life.
We had to go to the hospital.
Oh, yeah.
He's joking because he smiled all the time.
All right.
Pulled skinny, had to go get some lotion.
John, looking for a motion to approve a budget transfer 24-0339, Public Works transfer of funds from account for part-time health in the amount of $16,370 to temporary salaries in the amount of $20,000. Employee medical and hospital insurance in the amount of $30,000, and account number for fuel and lubricants in the amount of $8,630 for a total amount of $75,000 for regular salaries for activity code reclass. Got a motion and a second. Any discussion on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Looking for a motion to approve 24-0340, transfer of funds from account for regular salaries to account for benefit payments in the amount of $87,000 for benefit payments for retiring employee payout reclass entry in and out. Transfer of funds from accounts for salary and wage adjustments to account for benefit payments in the amount of $11,000 for benefit payments for labor hours worked.
So moved.
Motion? Second, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay. We got a 7C, motion, looking for a motion to approve 24-0342. A transfer of funds from account for salary and wage adjustments in the amount of $15,134. And electricity in the amount of $9,866 for a total amount of $25,000. To account for employer share IMRF for employer share IMRF for labor hours worked. Transfer of funds from account for regular salaries to account for employer share social security in the amount of $7,300. For employer share social security for labor hours worked. Transfer of funds from account for salary and wage adjustments in the amount of $11,746. In the amount of $134 for electricity and account for regular salaries in the amount of $240 for a total amount of $12,000 to account for employee, medical and hospital insurance for labor hours worked.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, motion, looking for a motion to approve 24-0343. Transfer funds from accounts for salary and wage adjustments in the amount of $89,646. Salary and wage adjustments in the amount of $49,354. And electricity in the amount of $58,000 for a total of $197,000 to account for regular salaries for reclass entries to activity codes in out transfer of funds from accounts. Salary and wage adjustments in the amount of $15,200 and electricity in the amount of $4,000 for a total of $19,200 to account overtime for labor hours worked, transfer of funds for salary and wage adjustments to account temporary salaries in the amount of $4,700 for temporary salaries for labor hours worked.
So moved.
Motion,
Second.
second, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Looking for a motion to approve the claims report, 24-0344, payment of claims for public works and
Second.
facilities management. Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Looking to place and place on. Receive and place on hold. Thank you. I'm never gonna get that out. Informational 24-0345 pursuant to FI 0005622 and DTR 0306C224. Vehicle replacement purchase orders for FY24 facilities managements have been issued for Willowbrook Ford Inc. for a total amount of $226,554.04. Got a motion to approve first?
Move. Second.
Okay, and discussion now?
Question.
Yes.
Do we have these vehicles? What's going on?
So we've just issued purchase orders to get them ordered. So it's more.
Orders,
so-
okay,
So it's
sorry.
vehicles that were budgeted by the committee.
Right.
They're, for facilities for this year. And, now we're issuing the purchase order to actually get them ordered. We're hoping we'll be here in 6 months.
We'll see if they actually show up.
In this calendar
In this
year?
calendar year.
Got it. Okay.
Another hand? Okay, sorry.
Oh, thank you. Hey, Bill, I have a question. So in animal services, we saw one vehicle, and in JPS, they pulled, 2 vehicles, and now this is 4 vehicles. How is the split? These are not the same vehicles all in the,
Correct. So-
these are,
It's a total of 8 vehicles.
Okay.
There's the 4 here, 1 in animal services, and then there are 3 in JPS.
okay,
We found, the reason the JPS got pulled was we found 3 vehicles that are available from a different.
oh, gotcha, okay,
So we're able to, we think, we're trying, that paperwork's sitting on, probably sitting on my desk in about an hour. Eventually go through the process to get those vehicles procured immediately. And then these vehicles go on to order. So that's why we pulled that, but the idea was we're ordering 8 vehicles
8 separate vehicles.
between the 3 committees.
And so the county board members realized, so probably about a year ago, year and a half ago, you gave authority to Chris Schneider and now Bill to basically expand how that they purchase vehicles for all the departments. And we've definitely expanded where you're seeing a lot of different avenues going on lots, what's out there, seeing what's available. We still do the orders from the from the manufacturer, but we're pulling out every stop we can to get the vehicles, and we do fail every once in a while with doing it where we have an order, hey, we're gonna get it. No, you're not gonna get it. So we're seeing that a lot. And so you gave DOT all the tools you possibly could to go out there, buy off the lot, buy, whatever avenue we can to get it. And they've made good use of that.
Thanks, Nick. Now, I understand that we have certain policies regarding mileage or whatever to take vehicles off off our, our lot and buy new vehicles, replace the vehicles. So my question is, how are we doing on that process? Because I know from Animal Services, they've had to take that old vehicle off, use, and they're still waiting for this new vehicle to come. So I guess my question is, I'm not articulating it very well, but are we behind?
No, so your question is because we have both a mileage as well as a year, but we also have like a mechanical repair history.
Right.
That's all of that comes into play. Do we stretch some? Yeah, we stretch some without a doubt. If we find out that the mechanical repair history is in good shape, we absolutely, no matter what, we don't put anything out there that's unsafe. That's the number one priority. But we don't necessarily automatically take it out of the fleet at a mileage or a year. I mean, we look at the repair history, its totality of everything, and we see what makes sense. That's an accurate?
Yeah, that's
Well, and I
accurate.
asked that because Animal Services had to take that vehicle out of the fleet and they don't have the new vehicle yet. So that's why.
The lead into that was the last couple of years as we've been trying to procure, especially these vans. I mean, these are all transit vans that we're looking at on this order. And those have been particularly difficult for, the manufacturing has dropped off through the pandemic of those vehicles. We saw it across all the vehicles, but those have been slow coming back and they get snapped up by, private buyers, by corporations that are able to buy immediately, which is why Nick said, needing the tools to be able to buy a little differently than the normal procurement gives us a chance to at least get some of them. But I would say there's a backlog, but it's not, our fleet group is very good about trying to mix and match the vehicles that we have to make sure if somebody's struggling with a vehicle, they can get a replacement, a spare temporarily to do what they need to do.
Thank you.
I just want to add, I know that finding vehicles is difficult, but I am it's nice to see that some of them are now coming from the DuPage area. So, that to me, that's making me happy that we're actually buying from some of the DuPage.
We want the sales tax in DuPage County, yeah.
Yes,
Oh, yeah, we don't pay any sales tax, okay.
that's true, but still, I'd
We're
like to see
helping our
that, I'd like to see the
Rather helping
businesses.
it look.
So yesterday I ordered a patio door and they're telling me 6 months.
Yeah.
And it's really busted up anyway. What would your impression be in general about the supply chain? Are we
So
out of it or
it's very
6
hit and
months?
miss.
I mean-
It's very hit and miss. So
Okay.
we're finding certain sectors are correcting themselves. Certain sectors are still really far out. Electrical components for anything, that we can have them 12, 16, 18 months out for some electrical components.
Okay.
Other things that were, no foreseeable delivery date, now it's getting back to normal. So it definitely looks like it's repairing itself. But there are certain sectors, and what we have seen too, construction, we have seen the cost of construction actually contract a little bit, which is great. During, toward the end of the pandemic, it just exploded in price. We're seeing a contraction back a little bit, which is great. So I think the market is correcting itself
Slowly but surely.
slowly. Vehicles still have an issue. I mean, depending on what you want to get, they still have an issue, and we are competing. And we can't, even though the tools we have are allowed to move very quickly, we still can't move as quick as some of the private sector, and that's what we're seeing. Hey, we got a vehicle. No, we don't have a vehicle. I mean, we're still seeing that.
Catch. Well, don't buy any, I hope you don't need any patio doors. So.
Okay, good to know. So I really didn't need a motion or second for that because we're just putting that on file. So that paperwork is put on file. Or the information, I'm sorry, informational is put on file. Okay, moving along. We're going to item 10A. And agenda item 10A is an appeal to the Public Works Committee for hearing under Chapter 36 of the DuPage County Code of Ordinances, Article 18, subsection 36-660, which permits an appeal hearing before the committee on matters relating to public works previously decided by the superintendent. The hearing of the Public Works Committee for Appeal 10.8A is hereby called to order. This is an appeal from the superintendent's decision to deny Mr. Gavin Reardon's request for a variance on his water utility bill under subsection 36-660B4. At the hearing, the person making the appeal or request the variance may appear in person or represented by counsel or submit his case in writing. The agenda packet includes all the writings and correspondence Mr. Reardon has submitted regarding the variance request to date. Is Mr. Reardon in attendance? Okay.
Straight to one meeting.
So having neither seen nor heard from Mr. Reardon during today's hearing, the appeal will be decided based solely upon the correspondence Mr. Reardon has submitted to date. A review of those writings indicates that Mr. Reardon claims that not all water meters in his residential area bill the same. He apparently feels the meter is inaccurate based on a webpage published by the Village of Woodridge, which outlines that the water meters in the area are in the process of being replaced. So, since Mr. Reardon is not here, we're going to move on. Or Nick, did you want to discuss?
Yes, please.
What's going on with this, appeal?
Yeah, so this is this committee, probably the only one who has ever seen one of these before is probably member Zay, because we don't have these very often. So what we will do is we have a formal process for a billing appeal, which is what we have here. I will read you kind of my thoughts, the timeline, how it worked through. And then at that point, then this committee will render their decision, either positive or negative with my findings. So a little bit of a timeline just to bring you up to speed. September 25th, 2023, Mr. and Mrs. Reardon disputed their sewer bill, past, present, and future via email. I will read you their email so you can hear this. Director Kottmeyer, the Village of Woodridge is, through its water meter replacement program, reporting that not all water meters bill the same. See FAQ, when will my water meter be replaced? And it has the website for it. Given that the county uses water consumption readings for sewer billing and are sent to the village for water billing, we are disputing our sewer billing, past, present, and future. Please advise as to the process for disputing our sewer billing. Following that, and just so you know, he is a Woodridge resident. He receives his water from Woodridge. They do all the meter readings and then provide those meter readings to the county for us to bill for the sewer. Following that, that email, Mr. Reardon, I had him meet with Stan and I think Sean as well down at Woodridge. Just kind of go through the process, what happens. It's very well lined out in our ordinance. So on October 6th, 2023, I received, Mr. Reardon emailed me that he expects a hearing to be scheduled between 30 and 60 days from the September 25th date that he originally emailed his appeal to me. And in October 19th, 2023, I sent a letter, and all of this is in your packet, so you have it. I sent a letter and an email to Mr. and Mrs. Reardon stating that they have the option of appearing for an in-person hearing and presenting any additional information related to their appeal. So basically, the first step is me. Any appeal, they come in, they sit down with me, and what I told him is, listen, I will issue my appeal, but before I do that, I would like to afford you the ability to come in, present anything you have. You don't have to, but it would be beneficial. I gave him until October 30th, 2023 to submit, to schedule something. He did not. Therefore, on October 31st, 2023, I rendered my decision, which you have in the packet, and basically stating that I have, as part of the review process, what I did is we talked to the Village of Woodridge to figure out what their email or their website, since that was discussed. I looked at the historic billing for Mr. and Mrs. Reardon to see if there's anything out of ordinary. Met with Stan. There was nothing out of the ordinary. This is a typical meter replacement program, as over time, every village across every community and in every state has to replace their meters. This is part of the process. Mr. Reardon has not paid his bill since July, I do believe. But we've put any collections on hold until we got through this process. So on October 31st, I rendered my opinion that I felt that the billing was accurate and correct, and that the dispute for billing has been denied. I let him know in that finding that he had 14 days to appeal my decision. On November 1st, 2023, the next day, Mr. and Mrs. Reardon sent an email stating simply, "We are appealing," with no further information. So on November 6th, 2023, I sent a letter to Mr. and Mrs. Reardon, asking them to submit any additional documentation to be heard by the committee as part of the process. This is your chance, send it all in. No additional information was received. And so on November 27th, I sent a letter to Mr. and Mrs. Reardon stating that they have failed to provide, formal appeal documentation, but a hearing has been scheduled anyway for this committee on December 5th at the Public Works Committee. If you remember, it was originally scheduled. Right after that, then he asked for it to be moved at December 5th, so we gave him the benefit of the doubt. And we then moved it to this date to give him plenty of time, him and his wife, plenty of time to come here. And we on December 11th, we sent Mr. Reardon another letter stating that the appeal hearing was scheduled for January 16th, today, via certified mail and email. Michelle has sent additional follow-ups on email to remind him of today's hearing, but that is basically where we're at. In your packet, you have all of the information from this appeal. There is nothing compelling that, in my opinion, that would warrant not requiring him to pay his bills. Our recommendation and our request would be to deny his appeal and to move forward with collection process with our customer. Did I miss anything, or did I pretty much cover it?
That was good.
Does anyone have any questions? Member Olson?
I do want to clarify, obviously, we've received emails as well. The water at this point is being provided to the house.
Yes.
The water is purely utility by the Village of Woodridge. It is my understanding that it is not disconnected, but he is going through a parallel issue with the Village of
about
Woodridge.
Water.
With water.
This
We are only
sewer.
talking
Got it.
sewer today.
Okay, thank you.
But obviously, if they disconnect water, that.
Oh. Okay.
Any other questions? I want to thank staff for all the information. So I call for a motion and a second to approve or sustain Mr. Reardon's appeal of the superintendent's denial of the water bill variance request. As the committee takes votes on all appeals in the affirmative, an aye vote in favor will be a vote to grant Mr. Reardon's appeal, whereas a nay vote against will be to deny the appeal and leave the superintendent's variance denial undisturbed.
So move.
Second.
Seconds. Okay, can I have a roll call on this?
Chair Garcia,
Nay.
Vice Chair Ozak,
No.
Member Cahill,
No.
Member Desart,
Nay.
Member Galassi,
No.
Member Zay,
No.
Okay, motion fails. So we've already done all the, any discussions because we've already voted, take the call, so let's see. So the committee has voted to deny, so if findings of fact made by the superintendent in this letter and dated October 31st, 2023, and included in the committee packet are hereby adopted by the committee as its findings of fact in denying the appeal. A written decision will be provided within 1 week. Having no more matters on appeal, this hearing is now adjourned. Okay, moving on. Is there any old business? Any new business? Oh, the old business. I'm sorry. Member Zay.
Can we have an update on the boardroom?
Yeah,
What's
so.
going on?
So the boardroom actually,
I just saw the work starting today.
we're starting the alterations in there. If you remember, we are doing the bulletproof glass along the side. It took a long time to get that delivered, but we finally have all of the material and we are going to begin. The next county board meeting is going to be difficult, but we're going to hold that. You will see, it's going to be impacted after today's meeting. It's my understanding that we're gonna start ripping it apart pretty well. And then after the next county board meeting, we're really going to do it because we have an extra week in there. But we're looking to have it done by probably mid-February.
And the bulletproof blasting, I know they voted for that, but since then we've put additional, security in. How much additional money is this cost for us to do that? You said obviously the glass is heavy, we have to put supports in,
Yeah, and not only do we put supports in, but if you remember, if you go up in our ceiling, we have asbestos here and we have to anchor to our ceiling. But obviously the money has been spent. We've already bought that bulletproof glass. It's already been fabricated. And at this point, I would say that we're past the point of probably reversing.
Okay.
It's good for future.
Any other questions for old business? Any new business? Okay, with that, motion for adjournment.
Vote, second.
We're now adjourned.